It's Saturday morning, the kind of Saturday that's supposed to feel like a warm hug, a break from the grind. Instead, in this tiny, sun-drenched kitchen in a modest corner of the city, it feels like a pressure cooker about to blow. Maria, 38, stands at the counter. Her hands are deep in a mound of dough, knuckles working the flour, her movements automatic, almost robotic. She's been doing this since 5 a.m., trying to drown out the hum of a broken refrigerator and the silence of a house that feels too empty. She's a widow. 2 years. The grief is a phantom limb she still reaches for. The smell of baking bread, yeast, warmth, salt fills the space. It used to be a comfort. Now it's just a chore. In the corner, draped over a chair like a bored cat, is Min, 16. He's not looking at her. He's looking at a screen, scrolling, thumb moving like a metronome, ignoring the world. The tension between them is a third person in the room, a freeloader who refuses to leave. The morning light filters through a dusty window, illuminating the particles floating in the air. It's the only thing moving with any grace. Then Min speaks. He doesn't look up. He just says it flat, like he's ordering a coffee. I'm not going to church today. Or ever again. Maria's hands stop. The dough slumps. The words hit her chest like a physical blow. She feels a cold wave of shock wash down her spine. She tries to speak, but the words get stuck in the tar of her own exhaustion. She's been fighting this battle for months. The silent treatments, the eye rolls when she prays over the food, the slammed bedroom doors. She knew this was coming. She'd seen it in the set of his jaw, the fake innocence in his eyes. But hearing it out loud, that's different. That's a door slamming shut. From the other room, Kolan, 65, Maria's mother-in-law, shuffles in. She's wrapped in a faded robe, clutching her worn Bible like a shield. Her eyes are sharp, judgmental. She's been waiting for this moment. "Contrai," she says, her voice a creaky whisper. "Do not abandon the house of the Lord. The scripture says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. This is a test of your faith, not a reason to run." This is Kolan's signature move. Gaslighting with theology. Min scoffs. A dry, sarcastic laugh. He finally looks up, his eyes cold. "That's great, Grandma. Super helpful. You can quote your book all day. But I don't believe in your Sky Daddy anymore. I'm done with the fairy tales. I'm done pretending it makes me feel better. It doesn't. It just makes me feel like a worse person for asking questions you can't answer." He stands up. The chair screeches against the tile floor, a sound that cuts through the air like a knife. He doesn't wait for a response. He walks to the hallway, his sneakers squeaking, and slams his bedroom door. The sound echoes. The walls rattle. Maria is frozen. She feels a hot tear slide down her cheek. She wipes it away with the back of a flour-covered hand, leaving a white smear. She looks at the dough. It feels dead in her hands. She feels like a failure. A failure as a mother. A failure as a believer. What kind of Christian can't even keep her own son in the church? What kind of woman can't hold her family together after her husband is gone? The silence is now suffocating. The faith she's been clinging to by her fingernails feels like it's turning to dust. She remembers a verse. It used to give her hope. Now it feels like a taunt. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Hebrews 11:1. That's the textbook definition. But right now, she has no assurance. She has no conviction. She just has an empty house, a rebellious teenager, and a mother-in-law who judges her silently from the kitchen doorway. She wants to scream. She wants to fall to her knees and beg God to fix this. But she's too tired. Her bones ache with a weariness that goes deeper than sleep. She turns to wipe the counter, to pretend she's fine. And then she sees it. Ko-Lan has moved silently to the table. She places a small, worn wooden box on the surface. It's old, the wood darkened with age, and it has a single word carved into its lid, gleaming faintly in the morning light. The word is a bitter pill, a joke, a dare. Hope. The slam of Min's bedroom door is still vibrating in the walls when Ko-Lan shuffles closer to Maria. Not a slow, old lady shuffle. This is urgent, deliberate. Her eyes lock on Maria's, sharp and clear beneath the wrinkles. She leans in, her voice low and tight, like she's sharing a secret that could get them both in trouble. Maria, she whispers, the name heavy with meaning. I have something. Fuck gave it to me before he passed. He said she stops, swallows hard. He said to give it to you when the family is breaking. When you feel like everything is falling apart. Maria's heart does a weird skip. She's still wiping flour off her face, still numb from the fight. But now there's a flicker, something between hope and dread. Ko-Lan reaches into the folds of her robe and pulls out a small, dark wooden box. It's old, worn smooth by years of handling. The wood is almost black, with a subtle grain you can only see if the light hits right. And on the lid, carved by hand deep, careful strokes are the words, "Open it if you have faith." Maria's breath catches. The letters are beautiful, deliberate. Each one looks like a prayer. And then the scent hits her. Faint, but unmistakable. Fuchs cologne, the one he wore every Sunday. The one that used to linger on his coat when he hugged her after church. It's embedded in the wood, like the box itself has been holding onto his memory. For a split second, Maria's hand moves toward the lid. Her fingers twitch, ready to flip it open, desperate to see what's inside. Maybe a letter, maybe a promise, maybe the answer to everything that's broken. But then her hand stops, hovers, trembling. She pulls it back like the box burned her. Because what if it's empty? What if she opens it and there's nothing inside? Just a box with a dare carved on top. What then? She's been clinging to her faith by her fingernails for months. One more disappointment, one more God didn't show up and she'll let go completely. She knows it. And maybe that's exactly what Fook was afraid of. Ko-Lan watches her with knowing eyes. She doesn't push. She just says, quietly, "He told me to tell you something." He said, "Open it only with faith, not curiosity. If you open it curious, it will seem empty. But if you open it believing, you'll see what you need to see." Maria stares at the box. The carved letters seem to pulse in the dim light. Open it if you have faith. That's the catch. 2-2. She doesn't know if she has faith anymore. She's been going through the motions, prayers over meals, Sunday service, the whole routine, but it's all mechanical. Dry. Like a script she's reading without feeling. She picks up the box anyway. It's lighter than she expected. That hollow feeling makes her stomach clench. "I need to think," Maria mutters. She carries the box to her room, past Min's closed door. She can hear music blasting from inside some angsty punk band he's using to drown out the world. She wants to knock, wants to scream, but she's got nothing left. She sets the box on her nightstand. Then she sits on the edge of her bed and stares at it. Minute pass. An hour. She doesn't know. She's praying, but the words feel like gravel. God, give me faith. God, help me. God, I don't know if I can do this. It's the same prayer she's been praying for months, but now it feels even weaker. Like she's begging someone who's already turned away. She remembers the verse from 2 Corinthians 5:7, "For we walk by faith, not by sight." She used to love that verse. It was her anchor, but now it feels like a taunt. We walk by faith, but what if my legs are too tired to walk? What if I need to see just one thing, one proof that this is real? The box sits there, smug, silent, daring her. She can't open it. Not tonight. Not yet. She lies down, still in her flour-dusted clothes. She closes her eyes but doesn't sleep. The box is on the nightstand, a silent accusation. She feels its weight in the dark. And then, hours later, in the dead of night, she hears a creak. Her eyes snap open. The door to her room swings slowly inward. A small silhouette stands there, backlit by the hallway nightlight. It's Min. He's not supposed to be up. He's not supposed to be here. But his eyes are fixed on the nightstand, on the box, on the words carved into the wood that seem to glow with their own faint light. He takes a step inside. His hand reaches toward it. Min lies in bed, staring at the ceiling, counting the cracks like they're some kind of twisted rosary. Sleep isn't coming. It never does when the house feels like a pressure cooker about to blow. He's got his earbuds in, some angry punk band screaming about betrayal and broken systems, but even that can't drown out the sound from his mom's room. Soft, muffled weeping. The kind of crying you do when you're trying to hide it, but your throat betrays you. He yanks the earbuds out, listens. The weeping stops. Silence. Heavy, loaded silence. His jaw tightens. Part of him wants to stay put, to let her deal with her own drama like she always does. But there's something else too, a weird curiosity that gnaws at his ribs. That box. The one Colan brought. The one with the carved words that seem to glow. Open it if you have faith. What a joke. Faith is for people who haven't been screwed over by life yet. Faith is for suckers. But the silence is louder than the crying. He swings his legs off the bed, bare feet slapping the cold floor. He doesn't bother with slippers. He moves like a shadow through the hallway, past the family photos on the wall, his dad's face frozen in a smile that now feels like a lie. Her door is slightly ajar. He pushes it open, and the creak sounds like a gunshot in the quiet. She's lying on her side, facing away, her shoulders still. Asleep or pretending. He doesn't care. His eyes lock on the nightstand. The box sits there, small and unassuming, but it practically radiates a challenge. He steps closer. His hand reaches out before his brain can stop it. He picks it up. It's lighter than he expected. Hollow. The wood is smooth, aged, with the inscription carved deep into the lid. He runs his thumb over the letters, tracing them. Open it if you have faith. His chest tightens. He can feel the weight of his dad's ghost in the room. His fingers touch the lid. He's about to lift it, to flip it open and see if it's empty or full or whatever. But then resistance. Not physical, but something else. A gentle but firm no that pulses through his hand, up his arm, into his chest. It's like the box itself is saying, not yet. Not you. Not like this. His heart hammers. He pulls his hand back like he's been burned. He puts the box down, steps away, and leaves the room without looking back. Back in his room, he lies awake, staring at the same cracks. His dad's face swims in his memory, the way he'd pray quietly before meals, the way he'd leave his Bible open on the kitchen table, the way he'd say, God has a plan, even when everything was falling apart. Min used to believe that. Used to sit in church and feel something warm in his chest. But then his dad got sick and died. And God did nothing. Anger surges again, hot and familiar. He clenches his fists, punches the mattress. "Where was your plan, Dad?" He whispers into the dark. No answer. There never is. Hours pass. Morning light creeps through the blinds. Sunday. He pads to the kitchen, expecting the usual routine, his mom rushing to get ready for church, forcing him to come along. But the kitchen is empty. No coffee brewing, no Bible on the counter. He finds her in the living room, sitting on the couch, still in her pajamas, clutching the box in her hands like a life raft. Her eyes are red, swollen. She's not going to church. He stands in the doorway, watching. For once, he doesn't feel annoyance. He feels something else, something raw, uncomfortable. She looks so small, so broken. He remembers the verse from church, the one about Thomas. Jesus said, "Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." John 20:29. Min always thought that was a cop-out. Believing without proof? That's just gullibility. But now, watching his mom hold that box, he wonders if maybe she's the one who's been trying to believe without seeing. And maybe that's not weakness. Maybe that's the hardest thing in the world. He takes a step into the room. His voice comes out rough, almost a whisper. "Are you okay?" She looks up, startled. Tears spill over her cheeks. She doesn't answer. She just looks at the box, then back at him, her eyes pleading for something he doesn't know how to give. And for the first time, he doesn't know what to say. The silence stretches, heavy and holy, as the morning light pours through the window, catching the dust motes suspended in the air like tiny prayers. Maria finally speaks, and her voice cracks like dry earth. She sets the box down on the coffee table between them, her fingers lingering on the inscription. "I don't understand," she whispers. "I thought I prayed every night. I begged God to save your father. I believed he would. And then Fook died anyway." She presses a hand to her mouth, fighting the sob that wants to tear out of her. "I don't know why." He was silent. "I don't know why he let him suffer. I've been praying for a sign, for anything, and all I get is this box." Min's jaw tightens. He sinks onto the couch across from her, not touching the box, but staring at it like it's a bomb. If God is love, why did he take Dad? Why does he let you cry yourself to sleep every night? His voice is raw, jagged. "I used to believe all that Sunday school crap. I used to think God had a plan. But this isn't a plan. This is just cruel." He looks at his mother, and for the first time, he sees her not as a fortress, but as a woman drowning in the same question. She wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. A shaky breath. "Your father used to say something. When the doctor first told us the cancer was back, he said faith is not about walking in the light. He said it's walking in the darkness, trusting the promise of the one who never breaks his word." Maria's voice steadies a little. "He said God doesn't owe us explanations. He only owes us his presence. And that's enough." The words hang in the air. Min doesn't respond. He just looks at the box, its engraved letters catching the morning light. "Open it if you have faith." Faith. That word feels like a punch in the gut. He thought he had faith once. He thought he understood. But now it feels like a lie, a demand he can't meet. Silence stretches between them. Long, heavy. The only sound is the hum of the refrigerator from the kitchen and the distant chirp of birds outside, indifferent, mechanical. Min's eyes stay fixed on the box. His mother's hands are folded in her lap, trembling. Then Min speaks, almost hesitantly. "What if we open it together?" Maria looks up, startled. He continues, voice low. "Maybe I don't have enough faith to open it alone. But maybe together we have enough." He swallows. "Dad left it for both of us, right? So maybe that's the point. Maria's breath catches. A spark flickers in her chest, hope, fragile and terrified. But fear crashes right behind it. What if the box is empty? What if it's a joke? What if it says something that shatters them both? She looks at Min, at his young face hardened by grief, and she sees Fook in the set of his jaw. She nods slowly. Not now, she says. Let's wait until evening. Let's pray first. Prepare our hearts. Min doesn't argue. He just nods back. They both know they need time to gather their broken pieces, to find the courage to face whatever their husband and father left behind. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Those words echo in Maria's mind. She reaches out and places her hand on the box. Min's hand comes to rest beside hers, not touching it yet, but close a gesture of unity. They bow their heads, and in the silence, their lips move in uncertain prayer. No grand words, no eloquent pleas. Just two people, bruised and trembling, asking for strength to open what they fear most. The morning light spills across the room, catching the dust motes like tiny prayers drifting upward. Evening descends like a slow exhale, the last orange glow bleeding out of the kitchen window. Maria moves on autopilot, fingertips brushing the counter, the worn Bible, the matchbox. She strikes a single match, and the flame catches, fragile and defiant. She lights a candle on the kitchen table. The wax pools, trembling in the draft from the cracked window. From the hallway, soft footsteps. Kolan shuffles into the kitchen, her silk tunic catching the candlelight. She doesn't ask questions. She just pulls a chair and sits, folding her hands on the table like she's done this 1,000 times. In a way, she has not in this house, but in a dozen other kitchens, in a dozen other dark nights, sitting with the grieving and the desperate. She looks at Maria with eyes that have seen enough sorrow to know that silence is sometimes the most honest prayer. Min hears the scrape of the chair from his room. He's been lying on his bed, staring at the same crack in the ceiling, the box sitting on his desk like a judge waiting for a verdict. But something tugs him, not a voice, not a revelation, just a strange pull in his chest. He swings his legs off the bed and walks down the hall. He stops at the kitchen doorway. The scene hits him. His mother at the head of the table, one hand resting on the open Bible, the candle casting long shadows across her face. Kolan across from her, head bowed slightly, and between them, the box. It sits in the center of the worn wooden table, the inscription catching the flame, "Open it if you have faith." Min steps in. He doesn't say anything. He just pulls the remaining chair and sits. The circle is complete. Maria looks at him, and for a moment, she sees Fook in the sharp line of his jaw, the way his shoulders square when he's scared but won't show it. She takes a breath so deep it shakes. Then she picks up her Bible, the pages soft and creased from years of being held in both hands. She flips it open, not to find a specific verse, but because her fingers know where to land. "Listen," she says, her voice raw but steady. "Your father used to read this to me, on the nights when I couldn't sleep, when the worry was too loud." She reads aloud, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, I am there in the midst of them." She looks up, her eyes meeting Min's, then Kolan's. "I don't know what's inside that box. I don't know if it will answer anything. But I know that we are not alone in this room." Kolan nods, her lips moving in a whisper, a prayer so quiet it sounds like breathing. Min's throat tightens. He's been avoiding this moment for months, avoiding every conversation about faith, about God, about hope. But sitting here, candle flickering, his mother's trembling voice, the old woman's steady presence, something cracks inside him. Not dramatically, not with tears, just a small fissure, letting in a sliver of light. He speaks, and his voice sounds foreign to his own ears. I don't know how to pray anymore. The confession sits raw in the air. I used to just do it, like it was a list. Bless this, bless that. Thanks for the food. But now, he shakes his head. I don't know if anyone's listening, and I don't know if I even believe, but I want to. I want to. He stops, swallows. So if that counts for something, God, I guess that's my prayer. I want faith, even if I don't understand it. The words hang in the silence. Maria's hand instinctively reaches across the table and covers his. Ko-Lan places her worn hand on top of Maria's. 3 hands, stacked like a trembling tower over the box. Maria closes her eyes. Father, we don't have pretty words. We're not even sure we have enough faith to open this. But you said you'd meet us here, in the middle of our fragile, broken honesty. So meet us, be with us, and give us courage. She opens her eyes. The candle flame dances. And then it happens, just a trick of the light, maybe. The box seems to catch the glow, the grain of the wood sharpening, the brass hinges gleaming like tiny crowns. For a moment, it doesn't feel like punishment anymore. It feels like a gift waiting to be unwrapped. Min looks at his mother. She looks at him. Ko-Lan gives a small, encouraging nod. Maria's hand moves to the lid. She pauses, her fingers hovering. Min reaches out, his hand covering hers, warm, slightly damp, but solid. Together, they touch the brass clasp. The room holds its breath. Maria lifts the lid. It opens without resistance, the hinges well-oiled, as if Fook had prepared this moment with care. The candlelight spills inside, illuminating the contents. A single folded piece of paper, yellowed with age. The handwriting is unmistakable. Fook's neat, deliberate script, the same hand that wrote her love letters, that signed his name on the hospital discharge form, that scribbled notes in the margins of his Bible. Maria's lips part. Min's grip tightens. The air thickens with unspoken questions, with hope and terror tangled together. Neither of them reaches for the letter. They just stare at it, as if touching it would make it real, would make it final. Maria's fingers tremble as she lifts the paper from the box. It feels weightless in her hands, yet heavy as a stone. The candlelight catches the age-yellowed edges, the ink faded to a soft brown. She unfolds it slowly, carefully, as if the paper might disintegrate under her touch. Min leans over her shoulder, his breath warm against her cheek, his eyes fixed on the first words. My dearest Maria and Min, if you are reading this, you have chosen faith over fear. Thank you. Maria's breath catches. The handwriting is Fook's unmistakable. The same loops on the I, the same sharp slant on the M. She presses her fingers to her lips as if to hold back a sob. Min's hand grips her shoulder, steadying her. The letter continues. I know you have been carrying the weight of questions. I know you have wondered why I left you this box without explanation. But I did not leave it to confuse you or to test your patience. I left it as a test of faith, not because what is inside is valuable, but because the act of opening it with trust is itself the miracle. Min reads the words again, his jaw tightening. He knew, he whispers. He knew we'd struggle. Maria nods, unable to speak. Her eyes move down the page. Do you remember what the scriptures say? Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. The verse, Proverbs 3:5-6, hits her like a wave. She had recited it at Fook's bedside when the doctors gave their final prognosis. She had clung to it when the machines beeped their last rhythm. And now here it is, written in his own hand, a whisper from beyond. Ko-Lan, Maria says, her voice cracking. Look, She turns the paper so the old woman can see. Ko-Lan leans forward, her eyes scanning the lines, and then she crosses herself slowly, a tear sliding down her wrinkled cheek. The letter continues. I am with the Lord, and He is with you always. Do not be afraid. Just keep believing. The box is not an answer to your questions. It is an invitation to trust the one who holds all answers. I love you both more than words can say. Meet me in eternity. That is all. No map, no treasure, no explanation of the mysterious contents. Just a letter, a testament to faith. Maria's hands drop to her lap. The paper crumples slightly. She looks at Min, and then at Ko-Lan, and then back at the letter. A single tear escapes, tracing a path down her cheek, and then another. She does not try to hide them. Min's face crumples too, and for a moment they are just two children holding each other across a kitchen table, weeping without shame. Ko-Lan reaches across and places her hand over both of theirs. Her voice is a quiet hum, almost a prayer. He knew you would find your way back. Min sniffles, wiping his eyes with the back of his hand. He looks at the letter, at his mother's trembling hands, at the candle flame that is burned low. Then he speaks, his voice raw and honest. Dad was right. Faith is not about what's inside, but about trusting the one who gave it. The silence that settles over the kitchen isn't the heavy, suffocating kind they've been drowning in all week. This one is different, tender, almost like a blanket someone just draped over their shoulders. The candle flickers low, the wax pooling at its base, and the letter lies open on the table like a living thing that just exhaled for the first time. Maria doesn't rush to speak. Min doesn't check his phone. Ko-Lan stays perfectly still, her hands folded in her lap, her eyes fixed on the paper as if it's a window into something eternal. The box sits beside the letter, its lid still up, empty, but not hollow. It feels full now, charged with a meaning that has nothing to do with gold or maps or secret compartments. It's a vessel that held a message, and the message was never the point was the act of opening it. The point was the trust it took to lift that lid without knowing what you'd find. The point, Maria realizes with a slow dawning clarity, was faith itself. She picks up the letter again, her hands steadier this time. The first time she read it, she was trembling, her voice cracking, barely holding it together. Now she clears her throat and reads it aloud from the beginning, letting each word land like a stone dropping into still water. My dearest Maria and Min, if you are reading this, you have chosen faith over fear. Thank you. Her voice doesn't waver. It grows stronger with every sentence, like she's reclaiming something she lost a long time ago. Min listens, his eyes on the table, but his jaw is relaxed now. He's not bracing for a gut punch. He's absorbing it, letting it soak in. Ko-Lan closes her eyes, her lips moving silently in prayer. A thank you, not a plea. Tears stream freely down her weathered cheeks, but she doesn't wipe them away. She lets them fall. When Maria finishes, she folds the paper carefully and presses it to her chest. He knew, she says, her voice quiet but firm. He knew we'd fight. He knew we'd doubt. He knew we'd almost break. But he also knew we'd get here. Min lets out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. He looks at the box, then at his mother, then at Ko-Lan. I thought there'd be something in it. Like, I don't know, a key to a safety deposit box, or a deed to some land. Something real. He laughs a short, self-deprecating sound. But he just left us words. And somehow, that's bigger than any treasure. Maria reaches across the table and takes his hand. Because words are the only thing that last, honey. Gold rusts. Land can be sold. But a promise? That's eternal. Ko-Lan nods, her eyes still closed. She finally speaks, her voice a dry whisper. Your father understood something most people never learn. Faith is not about what you get, it's about who you trust. She opens her eyes and looks straight at Maria. You prayed for a sign. He gave you a letter. Sometimes the sign is just the invitation to keep believing. The room settles into another silence, but this one is full swollen with grace. Maria looks at the box again. It's just a wooden box, simple, unadorned. But now it feels sacred. The emptiness inside it isn't a void. It's a space that holds everything they've been through, every tear, every argument, every whispered prayer. It holds the story of their family, not as a mystery to solve, but as a testimony to trust. Let's frame the letter, Maria says suddenly, and keep the box on the family altar, right next to Dad's Bible. She looks at Min for approval. He nods without hesitation. Kolan stands up slowly, using the table for support. She shuffles to the shelf where the old Bible sits, next to a small crucifix and a faded photo of Fook. She picks up the Bible and opens it, flipping to a familiar passage. Her finger traces the lines, and then she reads softly. Without faith, it is impossible to please God, for whoever would draw near to him must believe that he exists, and that he rewards those who seek him. Min's head snaps up. Hebrews 11:6, right? Kolan smiles. You remembered. I remember Dad reading that verse the night before his surgery. He said faith isn't about getting what you want. It's about trusting that God is who he says he is. Min's voice cracks, but he pushes through. He said faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I thought that was just religious nonsense back then. But now, I get it. Maria stands up and walks over to the altar. She places the box next to the Bible, then sets the letter on top of it, unfolded, so the first lines are visible. This isn't the end, she says. It's the beginning of something new. She turns to face them, her eyes wet but bright. Tomorrow is Sunday. It's been years since we went to church together as a family, but I think it's time. Min looks at Kolan, who gives a slow, resolute nod. Okay, Min says. Let's do it. The next Sunday, for the first time in years, the three of them walk to church together. The church is not what Min remembers. It's smaller, the pews worn smooth by decades of kneeling, the stained glass filtering the morning light into amber and blue streaks across the wooden floor. He feels every eye on him as he shuffles in behind Maria and Kolan, or maybe that's just his own guilt, his own decade of absence, projecting. His mother's grip on his hand is tight enough to cut off circulation, but he doesn't pull away. He needs it. The familiar smell of old hymnals and beeswax candles prickles his nose, and for a split second, he's 10 years old again, sitting between his parents, his father's baritone rumbling through the opening hymn. The Mass starts. Min stands when everyone stands, sits when they sit, his movements robotic. He doesn't know the new songs, but he fumbles through, mouthing the words just under his breath. Maria's hand never leaves his, her thumb tracing small circles on the back of his hand, like she's soothing a frightened child. He catches Kolan's eye once she's sitting in the front row, her old back straight, her lips moving silently. She's not reading from a missal. She's just talking to God. Then the homily. The priest is older, maybe 60, with a voice that sounds like gravel and honey mixed together. He leans onto the pulpit and says, "You think you need a lot of faith. You think you need perfect faith, mountain-moving faith, before God can work. But Jesus says something different today." He opens the gospel book and reads, "If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you." The priest looks up. That's not a challenge. That's a promise. A mustard seed is tiny. It's almost nothing. But God doesn't need your big faith. He just needs whatever little bit you have. One crack of trust. One whispered, "I don't understand, but I'm going to try." That's enough. Min feels the words land like a punch to the chest. He thinks of the empty box, the letter, his father's words about doubt and breaking. He thinks of the years he spent trying to prove faith was a scam, a crutch for the weak. And yet here he is, sitting in a church, his mother's hand in his heart cracked open just enough to let a sliver of light in. He doesn't say anything, but something shifts. A knot in his stomach loosens. He doesn't know if this is faith. It feels more like surrender, but maybe that's the same thing. After Mass, the crowd spills into the courtyard. Maria hesitates, then leads them toward a small cluster of people near the fountain. A middle-aged woman with kind eyes stops and says, "Maria, I haven't seen you in ages. And this must be your son?" She looks at Min, and her smile softens. "Oh, you have your father's eyes." Fook had the kindest eyes. "You look just like him." Min feels his throat tighten. He doesn't know what to say, so he just smiles, a small, shy smile, and nods. It feels good to be connected to his father, even through a stranger's observation. "Thank you," he manages. "I miss him too," the woman says, squeezing his arm before moving on. Maria's arm hooks through his. "That's Mrs. Why? She used to bring us soup when Dad was sick." Min nods, but his mind is elsewhere. He's thinking about the mustard seed, about how his tiny step of trust is enough. Maybe he doesn't need to have all the answers. Maybe he just needs to show up. Then Maria steers him toward a young guy in his mid-20s, wearing a hoodie that says, "Faith over fear." "This is David, the youth group leader," Maria says. "David, this is my son, Min." David grins, easy and genuine. "Hey, man, welcome. I heard you might be coming. We meet Wednesday nights. It's pretty chill snacks, cards, sometimes a little discussion. No pressure." Min hesitates. The old instinct kicks in, the voice that says this is lame, this is for suckers. But then he remembers the letter, the empty box, his father's words about trust. "Yeah, okay. Maybe I'll drop by next week," he says. David's grin widens. "Awesome. I'll save you a seat." They shake hands, and Min feels like he's just signed a contract he doesn't fully understand. Back home, the afternoon sun pours through the living room window. Maria pulls out the frame she bought earlier. Simple, dark wood, clean lines. She slides the letter inside, careful not to bend the edges. Min helps her place it on the main shelf, right next to his father's old Bible and the small crucifix Colan's had since her wedding day. The wooden box sits beneath it, empty but now somehow full of meaning. Colan shuffles over, her frail hands gripping her cane. She looks at the shelf, then at Maria and Min. "Let us pray," she says, and it's not a question. They hold hands in a small triangle, the three of them, standing in the living room. Colan closes her eyes and begins, her voice like dry leaves rustling. "Lord God, we thank you. Thank you for leading us through these days. Thank you for the empty box that was not empty. Thank you for a man who knew how to leave a legacy of faith, not of gold. Thank you that a mustard seed of trust is enough." The prayer hangs in the air like smoke from a candle that just got snuffed out. Colan's eyes stay closed for a moment longer, and when she opens them, they're wet. But she's not crying, she's smiling. A real smile, not the tight-lipped, "I'm fine" mask she's been wearing for years. Min looks at her, and for the first time, he doesn't see a Karen. He sees a grandma who just got her hope back. POV. The next few weeks. If this were a movie, there'd be a montage set to some cheesy acoustic guitar. But real life doesn't have a soundtrack. Instead, it's small, awkward, and surprisingly undramatic. Dinner on Tuesday, Maria actually sets the table instead of eating over the sink. She puts out plates, napkins, even a candle. Min rolls his eyes but sits down. Kolan shuffles in, and before anyone can grab a fork, she folds her hands. Lord, bless this food and the hands that made it. Min waits for the guilt trip. It doesn't come. She just says amen and passes the rice. Wednesday night, Min walks into the youth group at the church basement. David greets him with a fist bump and a bag of chips. There are about 10 kids, some playing Uno, some scrolling their phones. No one tries to heal him or ask about his trauma. They just play cards and complain about school. There's a discussion later about faith without works, but it's not preachy, more like a group therapy session where everyone admits they're failing at it. Min says nothing, but he listens. And for once, he doesn't feel like an outsider. Maria's bakery starts getting a weirdly loyal following. She doesn't change her recipes, but she starts writing little notes on the boxes. You are loved, or God's got this. Customers notice. One lady calls it soul food. Maria laughs, but her eyes get that old sparkle back. She starts praying over the dough, literally whispering blessings while kneading. It's not performative. It's just her talking to God while making croissants. Kolan, the former critic-in-chief, becomes the biggest hype woman. Min comes home from youth group one night, and she's waiting at the door. Not to lecture him about being late, to ask how it went. When he shrugs and says, "It was okay," she nods and says, "I'm proud of you." He almost chokes. Later, Maria catches Kolan reading Fuchs' letter again, her finger tracing the faded ink. "He would be happy," Kolan whispers. "You and that boy, you two are okay. The shift isn't dramatic. There's no lightning bolt or angel choir. It's more like a weight that slowly lifts until you realize you've been standing straighter for days." Then one evening, Min finds Maria in the living room, staring at the wooden box. She's holding a new piece of paper, a letter she wrote to Fook. Min sits down next to her without a word. She reads it aloud, her voice steady. "Dear Fook, your son came home, and he asked about you tonight." She looks at Min, and her eyes are wet again. "He wanted to know what kind of man you were. And I told him everything the good, the messy, the faith." Min clears his throat. "I want to write something too." He takes the pen and adds a few lines at the bottom. Maria doesn't peek. She just watches him fold the paper and place it inside the box, next to the original letter. The box that was empty is now full, not with things, but with meaning. Acts 2:42 talks about the early church devoting themselves to fellowship and breaking bread. That's what this house is becoming. A messy, imperfect, sarcasm-heavy fellowship. But it's real. Maria closes the box and sets it back on the shelf. "We keep going," she says. "That's what he would want." Min nods. "Yeah. And maybe next Sunday, we bring the whole church here for dinner." Kolan, passing by, mutters, "Only if you're buying the groceries." But she's smiling. POV. 1 year later. The retreat center is a repurposed barn with fairy lights and mismatched chairs. It smells like coffee and old wood. Maria sits in the back row, knees bouncing. Min is at the front, gripping a mic like it's a live grenade. The facilitator gives him a nod. "Go ahead, bro. You got this." Min clears his throat. The room may be 40 people. All strangers stares at him with that soft, expectant look people get when they want a miracle story. He almost laughs. "So, my dad died when I was a kid. Left my mom this box. Empty. For years I thought it was a scam. Like, why would God give you nothing and call it a gift?" A few nervous chuckles. He pulls out his phone, scrolls to a photo of the wooden box with the burned-on word faith. I used to think faith was about having evidence, proof, something to hold. But my dad wrote a letter that said basically faith is trusting before you see. He pauses, eyes wet. I didn't get it until I stopped trying to open the box and started living like it was already full. He quotes the verse he memorized in the youth group basement. For we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5-7. His voice cracks. That's it. That's the whole thing. Maria wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. When it's her turn, she stands and walks to the front. She doesn't take the mic, she just speaks loud enough for the room to hear. That box wasn't empty. It was full of my husband's love, full of God's timing, full of a lesson that took me a year to learn. Real faith keeps going even when there's nothing to prove it's worth it. She looks at Min. We put our own letters in there now. Every time we trust God for something, Min's school, my bakery, Colan's health, we write it down and close the lid. And somehow, the box gets heavier. Not with stuff, with meaning. The facilitator steps in. So here's the deal. You all have a box. It might be a situation where God's asking you to trust without proof. A relationship. Ayob. A healing. Your own empty space. He holds up a plain cardboard box. This is yours if you want it. Take it home. Put your paper inside. That's your act of faith. He leads a closing prayer. Lord, give us courage to believe when it's dark. Give us grace to surrender control. And send us people to walk beside us. Because faith isn't a solo sport. He quotes the verse from earlier. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Hebrews 11:1. Amen. Min and Maria stand together. The facilitator hands them each a piece of paper. Write one thing you're trusting God for today. Then put it in your box. Min writes, that I'll stop needing to see to believe. Maria writes, that Fuchs' legacy is just getting started. They fold the papers, place them in the box, and close the lid. The room buzzes with the sound of 40 people doing the same thing. The camera pans to the wooden box on a shelf at home, now surrounded by other faith boxes, some cardboard, some shoe boxes, one an old tin. On the lid, the word faith glows in the morning light. End.